just where our first prep center was. And it lets us know kind of what the sales tax free price is. We don't have to do any mental maths. There's a few, sales tax free states in the US. But what we can see here is when I put my address to Montana, you can see that the buy box is $47.50 for me. But if I look at the offers available, there are actually other cheaper offers available. $45.93, $45.94. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 that are cheaper than the buy box for me. Now, the real reason for this is because the buy box rotation, the featured offer as Amazon calls it, is made up of a number of factors. And one of those is distance or delivery time. And as you can see that this offer is going to get to me by Friday, March the 10th. Whereas some of these other offers that are slightly cheaper are going to take quite a bit of time to get to me. Thursday, March 23rd, Thursday. This one's a little bit actually sooner, which is quite interesting. That this one's sooner, but this one still has the buy box. So whilst a lot of people believe that the lowest price gets you the buy box, and often it is the case, there are other elements that are taken into account when assigning the buy box. In this case here, you can see you're actually 60 cents above the buy box and still getting some of it. We can have a check back throughout the day and see how high above the buy box you can be placed. So you actually get some rotation. So you don't always have to follow it on the way down. There's quite a number of techniques that you can use to price above the buy box and still get that rotation as you come around. You do kind of do those experiments as you go through. So that was pro tip number 1. Pro tip number 2, when I said about sometimes these suppliers can limit how much you can purchase, or they limit how many times you can kind of get the new buyer, the new customer discount, the 10%, is to create new accounts. But the way to do it without creating a whole bunch of new email accounts is that Google actually allows you to make sibling accounts. To do it without creating a whole bunch of going into too much detail what that is, you simply add a plus. Allows you to make sibling accounts. Something to the ending of your email without going into too much detail what that is. You simply add a plus Alex.com, and that will, for the system of the merchant, will create a new email address, new identity, but all the emails are still routed through to my main email. So it allows me to create lots and lots of different logins whilst only having one central mailbox. And once I'm doing that, I can get multiple 10% sign-up codes. Sometimes it works on different sites. So that's another top tip for you there. Pro tip number 3 on this one. Now, I'll share the link in the description. However, what the Small Flower Modern Apothecary allows you to do is I am able to share a code with you guys, and you'll get 10% off your first order, or any order that's over $65. Now, I'm not really interested in buying more from this store, and I'm not really interested in doing more affiliate stuff, but it will get you guys 10% $10 off of your order. So if you click on that link before you make your order, then you'll be able to really undercut the price and make some great profit on this item. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know if you have any issues or anything you want me to expand on in other videos.
This thing here. How do I turn on the camera? Can guys display capture? Video capture device, that'll be me. There we go. That's getting better. We're getting better. We're working this. So I'm going to go ahead and make my head a little bit smaller. Put my head down here. That makes life a lot better. Great stuff. Right. Why it's really important that we go ahead and cultivate these relationships is that these are the kind of edges that you'll get when no one else can. If you're sick of jumping onto listings and then they get very crowded very quickly and everyone's also trying to sell the same thing, it's because they have access to the same deals that you have. So it's our job to find that edge, to get deals, unique deals, set ourselves apart. And one of the ways you can do this is by cultivating kind of relationships, and the simplest form of that is the kind of B2B wholesale relationships where you're getting it at the best price possible, you're getting stock that's not available to the general public. But these kind of deals are stuff that when I first started in this kind of reselling business, I was going to different markets, like physical markets, boot sales, and I started meeting traders, and from those traders I built those relationships, got the contacts, and then they now send me deals because they know that we are good people to work with. We're serious. We have the money. We have the cash flow that goes with it, and we can act quickly and make a kind of firm decision. So I get these sent through all the time. So I thought I'd share with you guys kind of the stuff that comes through, but also at the same time you'll get the analysis. So you've got a keeper in here. Make sure that my keeper activated, which is always good. I'm going to go from there. Right, so I need to go and find these. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying because you just get sent some screenshots. Normally, I'm pretty good at being able to, I ask them to send me the barcode, but it's also part of the game, which is to get, having to do a little bit of a hunt. And sometimes, they don't actually exist on Amazon. So that is also a bit of the challenge that we have to find it, and sometimes we can't because they don't actually exist. Because half the time people have got these deals, and they're not interested in selling on Amazon. They haven't done the homework to see if they are selling on Amazon. They are just they just have some deals. They have some wholesale stuff that they need to get rid of. So I'm pretty sure that is it. Looks like it. I'm looking at pictures I've been sent. And try and figure out which one it is here. And I can give them the prices. Looking. What might else be easier, actually? I'll go to the brand page in Nebo. First things first, probably be a little bit easier. What we're able to do is, first thing I normally check is, can we sell this brand? Because there's no point looking at any of their items if the brand is just gated full stop. So often that can be a bit of a challenge. Right, let me go ahead and do this. Right. Sign in and stuff. So let me go ahead and pause that a second whilst I just sign in. Is that going to work? That wasn't the button I wanted to press. I need to log out. Log in. I promise I will get better at doing this, where I have it all set up. We're still in, and also I'm traveling, so I'm working on my laptop, so it's also a bit of a pain. Just to make sure I'm set up properly. But do ask us questions in the chat. I can see them, and let us know. I need this one. Is it this one? Yes. So we'll be using, for this sourcing session, we're going to be using SellerAmp, our trusted SellerAmp. It is the best deal analysis software, I think, that's out there. Best bang for the buck, and the developer team is really good. Al and his wife are really, really good at helping support and stuff, and they've been sellers themselves, so they understand what the software is there to do. Right, and I need to sign in to Keeper properly here. This one. password in that, right? Try this again. Save this one. Subscription, make sure we're on active, keep the subscription. Yep, that's fine. Go ahead and refresh this page. Make sure all the stuff's loading up so I can actually do some analysis with you guys. I like someone to log in. I just did log in, keeper. So logging in now. It likes it now. All right, fair enough. This feels much better. Okay. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, what's this? Open that open anymore. Close that down. I can close that down. Right, I can probably turn the screen back on now. There we go. Right, we're back in. All right then. Okay, so I'm going to see if we can sell this product. We're not logged in. That's also not good. So log into Seller Central. Make sure that we can. Apologies, guys. It's a bit haphazard. Someone just messaged me and asked me if we're going to be going live today, and it just made me think I'm literally about to do some analysis on some deals that have been sent through. So I thought, why not do that live with you guys, and you can see what I look at when we're looking at these things, and we can talk about all the different types of deals that you'll get at the end of the day. We'll get sick of the number of different. That's correct. Why is that not correct? I didn't like it very much. That's why. That's stupid. The password in wrong. OTP. OTP for OTPs. All right, what's this? Logged in, select the United Kingdom, and we'll be okay. All right, so refresh the page one more time. All right, I think we're finally ready. Yeah, so someone poked me and said, "Hey, can we? Are you going live today? If not, if you are, can you do some live analysis with us?" Okay, so let's go ahead and share screen again. All right, so first things first. So first thing, kind of deal that I've been sent through is this Nebo flashlight. So the first thing I usually check with all these kind of deals is I want to ensure that we can actually sell the brand. There's no point looking at any of the deals I've been sent through with regards to this brand if we just can't sell the brand in the first place. So I just picked a random listing for this brand. And SellerAmp really helpfully is telling me some information on the left-hand side here. The one where I'm particularly interested in at this moment is the fact that if we're eligible to sell it or not. So I clicked on here to manually ungate, and it opened up this page here in Seller Central, which is telling me that we need to apply to sell this brand, Nebo branded items. Now we need this as we need a purchase invoice of at least 10 units of this. Which we don't have at the minute. So this is one of those things that, hey, if this was a good deal, then we might put in the effort to try and get ungated on this brand. But in order for us to kind of go through the pain of doing that, then it's got to be worth our while. So I just want to have a quick look and see if it is. If any of these things are worth our time getting ungated on. So I'm just having a quick look. Let me a couple of deals they sent us through, and if they've not, then we're not going to bother wasting our time, because there's no point trying to go through the rigmarole of buying 10 units to get ungated. Spell headlamp wrong there. To get ungated and then find out that there's just not a great brand to sell anyway. So that's my first thing I'll normally do. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, this could be the one. Oh, yeah, I think that's the one there. So I've got this as an offer. Multiple variations. That doesn't fill me with joy. Variations just makes it more difficult to analyze and see if they've got any, where the sales are coming from. But there is some good sales across the parent listing. It's just a case of being able to ungate on it. So there's something here. Now, what we need to make sure, it's our job to make sure that the sales are coming from this variation. So what I'm going to do here, really, quick, easy way is I'll look into data, offers. I'm just interested in the Prime. I'm actually really only interested in the FBA, but we'll leave Prime because they get share of the buy box and they're going to include the historical. I'm just going to see kind of what movements have been happening. All right, so they've actually sold through, but they've then hit 2 and then that's Amazon. So I'm not sure I really trust Amazon. Their data is always a bit skewed with how many they've got in stock because they hide that. These guys had a lot and then they dumped out. That's Amazon as well. Really, really tough. Okay, so PJ Nichols, these ones here, they've had some stock in consistently, so that's a pretty good indication. I can see these kind of drops off. The sudden movements that you see, if I make the graph a little bit, can I zoom in on here? Yeah. So these kind of spikes in drops, he's going from 23 to 2. I don't think someone's bought 20 in one go. I think that's either stock moving around different fulfillment centers and stuff, and then coming back on available and then going unavailable again. It's more like when you see these kind of gradual decreases in stock level, those are what I would think are more likely to be sales. So kind of going from 11, 10, 9, 8, that dropped to 5 there. Maybe someone bought 4 at one time, potentially. So there are definitely some sales happening here. I like this section that's back here at the end of the day. Let me reset this back up to 30. Can I? I'll zoom back out of this without having to refresh the page. Let's do this actually. Just go to the page, back into the page. Yeah, so I'm interested in seeing these ones here, these gentle declines here. So kind of averaging 1994. They were doing a decent amount, but Amazon EU's come in, so they're going to undercut them there. So that's an interesting one. We're being offered these at the torches. We're getting offered these at £5 at the end of the day. So put that £5 in here. Let me just check what settings we've got in here, total fees and stuff. Okay, so here I've kind of got them just as our standard UK stuff. We work with Systemize as our fulfillment partner, so kind of I put in our fees in here. There's a video on what we do to set up these costs to make it accurate for your business. So at that price, these are VAT-X prices. So yeah, there's some good amount of ROI in there, and so I'll be interested in taking some of these as a tester. So I'm just going to make a note of that on my phone. Do this. Just taking a note down so I can message back. So it might be worth getting ungated on this. And also we'll want to see the torch UPC so we can get a confirmation on that. But I'm pretty sure that this, I know what this one is here. So it looks like it could be a decent deal. But there's some bit of work that we need to be done to make sure we can get ungated first before we go ahead and try and commit to try and get commit to do anything particularly. What is this one? Hard to see. Let's see if I can go and find it in the Nebo store. There's another one from this brand. Go. Is it a pocket light? Yes, it is a pocket light. Just trying to match up. Sometimes with these offline deals, they're a bit of a pain. You just get sent through, some dodgy ass looking photos, and you kind of got to try and piece it together. The better ones, they know what you're looking for, and they'll send through. I usually work with people and I say, hey, just send me a picture of the UPC, the EAN UPC, the barcode, because I can use that to go ahead and find it. I wouldn't say find it on Amazon, because the Amazon catalog is just full of errors. I do it and find it on, just on Google, and then that would then I'd know which one it is, and then from there I can go and find it on Amazon once I've kind of got a good idea of from once I've got a good idea, I can then go back and look on Amazon, or I can also ask them for a picture of the UPC to be sure. So is this one? No, I don't think that's it. I think it's one of these ones, but no, looks like it's going to be not the one. Okay, so that's that one. What else we got in here? All right, I've got this. I've been offered Gorilla Glue. I get offered Gorilla Glue quite a lot. Now, I already know from experience, having seen these quite a lot, that they're not high value items. So you kind of need to, to get them super cheap in order to make anything out of them. So it looks like it's this one we've been sent. I'm looking, it could be this one, it's 250. It looks like it's the 115 mil. It's interesting here, the 250 mil is £12.50, and this one here is 150 mils is £12.94, so interested to see how that one's going. It looks like, I mean, if in doubt, I'll try and pick the, the cheaper one, or the least best one, so that way, everything else is kind of upside from there. Gorilla Glue, yep, easy to sell. Quite a lot of sellers here, but I mean, it's doing, Oh, there are a lot of them FBM sellers. Yeah, so there's a few there. Seller Amp says it's doing some good money, so these are being offered to me at £3.50 a unit. Yeah, so these low value items are always a pain. There's just not enough money in it at the end of the day. Even at £12.94, we're paying £3.50 just because of the amount of fees and stuff that are gonna come off of it. So yeah, even getting it for like, what's that? Less than a third of the price, there's still, not enough in it. Once you take into account your kind of prep fees, your VAT that you've got to pay on the sale and stuff, and that's one of the pains of being a VAT registered seller. So I'm not even going to look at the graph because it's just, the numbers just don't stack up. And even I can see there, I'm already down £1 profit per unit. And sometimes you can try and, in here in the fees, we've been a bit harsh on ourselves. I prefer to be harsher in here and then, find, rather than being really lenient and then getting caught out. We might be able to save a bit on the prep fee. But even then, saving 83 pence on the prep fee isn't going to do a dent on this negative £1 profit, which is a shame because it does seem like it sells really, really well, but it's just like a low value item. So these kind of low value items, because of the fulfillment fee being like £3 or £4 minimum, it makes it really, really tough. But always worth investigating. So we'll look at another one. Just getting sent through lots of different things here. Okay. This is all from, this is where I first started my business actually. It's just doing kind of DIY and hardware and stuff. So it's actually super interesting for me. Let's see. I love selling tools and stuff. A different customer. We end up, most arbitrageurs end up drifting into beauty, just because beauty is such a popular, and it's don't get me wrong, it's a very, very busy, market to be in. All right, it's this one here actually. It's 1.152. Okay, so it's £16 odd. And it's interesting sometimes speaking to these kind of offline deals, because you'll say like, hey, I need to have this at X pounds, and they're like, oh, but it sells for, they'll send you a picture of it in, Screwfix or something, and it'll be like, oh, it's a £25 item. But on Amazon, it's like £10. So it's such a competitive market. So, their version, what they think you can actually make on it is very different. Sometimes they don't have a clear handle on, just how much it costs in fees and stuff like that. So let's have a look at these. We can have a look at how they're doing. Who's on the buy box? Okay, so Amazon's on the listing, but the buy box is given to somebody else, which is always nice. Let's have a look. These are being offered to me at £5 a piece. Okay, so there might be something there. Okay, so there's a decent bit of money there. I'd be interested in some of these. Let's just check the So just on the top level, the numbers add up. That's my first thing I check for is one, can we sell the product? If you can't, there's no point even looking at any of the rest of it. And then just looking then at kind of the different stock changes and seeing who's doing what. These guys have had one for a while. What's happening here? Okay, so because this is a variation, it's interesting. And it could be that the other variation is getting all the sales. Because there's a lot, SellerAmp thinks there's a lot of activity and the BSR is quite low, which says there's, some sales happening. And but it's our job to determine whether it's on this variation or the other one. Now, what I can see here is that, what date are we on? 90 days. There's people have held their price and they've done like 1, they had 8 down to 1, disappeared, and there's a couple of bits happening. These guys have reduced their price over time, but they seem to be stuck on Seabreeze hardware. They've been stuck on 1 for a while. Who's that? They're back up to 4 now, so they've jumped back up. Whether they've got like a minimum purchase on there, or sorry, not minimum purchase, but they hide how many pieces of inventory they've got. But like, for example, this Name Shops have had, they're on the buy box now, and they've had 4, according to Keeper, for, since middle of December. And even though they've played with pricing and, they're on the buy box now, and I could probably go back to the main screen and see that they've probably had the buy box. Yeah, they've had the buy box throughout, back and forward, but they still have got their 4 units left. They've only got 4 left. I don't think they've got a maximum. Let's just see if I can try and add some more to the basket. They might. Can I do this? See what they've got. It normally tells you there's like there's an error when you try and add more. They might say there's max purchase X at a time. Yeah, so these guys are selling them at 4 per customer. So that's an interesting thing, is that actually these guys might be doing more, but they've hidden how many you can buy at one time, which means that, as I was just talking about before on the graph, it doesn't necessarily hold true, because it looks like they've had 4 in stock for ages, but actually it's the fact that Keeper has only been able to determine that they have 4 units in, so it's actually hiding how many they actually have available at the end of the day. So we're looking for other ones that have come in and out. For Rook's sake. So these guys had 1 and then disappeared, but how long were they in stock for? One. It looks like they were sat around for a while. They had 8 and 1. And then they probably had a max purchase of 1. Who's the other one that's on here? So it's worth a test, probably. At that price, you'd have a look. That's that one there. And then Name Shop, there they are. They've got a max purchase on 4. But they've only just come on recently. It does look like they've got more available. We can only purchase 4 at a time from them, though. These guys look like they sold some, but it doesn't look like it's a super fast mover. If I go to the other, what I'm probably going to find is on the other variation, the cheaper one, that the amount of activity in terms of the, hopefully there's someone else available for sale other than Amazon. Yeah, there is. Let's have a look at Prime. So include historical. Okay, so there's only been Amazon. So this makes it kind of tough to determine how many they've been selling or not, because the data isn't there. These guys have all not been on the buy box, so it's actually very hard to tell if this is the other one. So this is one where I'd maybe buy some and send it as in a test, just to see how well it goes, because I'm not getting all the data, but it's something that I'd want to have a look and see if they're working. So. Fine. Okay, what else we got in here? Right. This one here. What have we got here? All right, next thing we've been offered. Okay, we actually, let me delete this from a basket so I can get a bit more here. This might not be something, oh, it's industrial scientific, let's just put this back to apartments. There we are. Protected liquid, no idea what the stuff is. This is brand ID. Nope, can't find the product I'm looking for. The other thing as well sometimes is you want to look is if you can find it in, and I'll quickly show you, let's do this. Another way, sometimes, you know, you can only see what's in Amazon now, like available, and it might actually just be out of stock. So it could be like a super, super popular item, but actually it's just not, no one's got anything available. So the other way of doing it is if you go within your Seller Central and you go to add product and you do a search in here, and you can also have a look in here to see if it's in here, because actually you'll see if I compare this screen to what I see here, you get different search results. So there's only a limited bit here, and there's more in here than there are on there. So there are some of these that might be out of stock, and I'm not saying that they are going to be, I can see the sales rank, they're quite bad, but it just shows you that there could be some that's like kind of hidden around in the background that are just maybe out of stock right now, and then if they were in stock, well, they'd be good sellers. So I'm just going to do a quick search on a couple of these. No. Not seeing anything there. Nope, so move on from that one. Go for this. Some of these. Okay, somewhere look, trying to match it up. There's a square padlock. It's hard to, normally when you, sometimes when you get the part number, it's combi, it's a combi. I don't think it's that one. It's got a longer shackle on it. So I'm just having a look. Squire is a really good padlock brand. I know them already, so I know they sell really well. Masslock, another really good brand. You kind of get used to these different brands. Let's just look at the main page itself. So that's your 5. So it's like that, but a 5. Just top line. 5 with a 4 wheel. Looks like it's this one. Lots of variations, which is kind of annoying. You know, normally when you've got the product in your hand, it makes life a lot easier. But this is it here. So this one's been offered at. So we sell this. I think pretty 99% sure we can yet, just from experience. You just get used to the brands we can sell. Let's see, I'm thinking about £4 a piece. Right, so put in here 4. Go in there. All right, so this, on the face of it, it seems to be good money to be made, but it's our job to make sure that you know, the variation is the one that is selling well, and it gets more and more difficult. There's lots of variations here. SellerAmp really helps me by telling me how many there are, but you can see here there's, you know, there's all these different variations. So my go-to usually is looking at the number of offers. Now the brand is on the listing, so what I'm going to be looking for is how, you know, aggressive they might be. these still in my basket. I thought I deleted these. How aggressive they're going to be in terms of, allowing other sellers. I did see the kind of seller count, and I didn't see any kind of drastic changes. So I'm just going to look through here and just see if anyone else has been on. There's Amazon, and ignore them. Yeah. Again, a bit of a tough one to gauge where they're selling. Disappear, a bit lumpy here. Seabreeze Hardware, we saw them in the other listing. So Squire Locks also, big lumpy movements. It's very hard to tell how many are moving at one time with them, but it does seem like a popular one. It's definitely worth a test. So I'm going to put down as a note to test that one out. Yeah, I think, I'd be comfortable taking at least 20, maybe 50 of these and see how they go at that kind of price, just because I can see, if they don't, the thing is as well, is like if you're having issues selling them on Amazon, these products always sell really well on your eBays and stuff like that. These things just fly out. They're very easy just to throw in a poly bag and get shipped out to the customer. So yeah, pretty easy. But the thing will just be competing against the brand on their pricing, so it's how they feel about that. But yeah, this seems to have been sharing the buy box with other people, and that other people seem to have sold out by now, so that seems to be okay. I'm just going to double check that again. They seem to have sold out as opposed to getting like kicked off, which would be the other thing. Find their name. Seabreeze. There we are. Yeah, it does look like they've gone sold through. Sorry, that's fine. That's it. All right. So look, what else we got on here? Quick look at the Fiskars sharpener. You can't see. I mean, I'll try and get some images up of being able to show you guys on the next time. But it's difficult because I'm looking at my phone and I've only got one screen since I'm traveling at the minute. I am in Dubai. If anyone is in Dubai, then do give me a shout, and that's always good to catch up with people. Let's have a look. All right. These, I know Fiskars is a great outdoor brand. These usually sell really well. So how much they want on these? Oops, clicked the wrong button there. I'll do that. Yep, numbers stack up. They sell okay. These can be sold, yes. Click on the data. What I really want to see is someone who's had a nice, good bit of stock in, and then, a nice general kind of gradual decrease, and then they've sold over time. That's what I'm really looking for. What are they selling those at? 1348. 5,000. So they've just kind of increased in stock. Doesn't seem to have had any sold. These ones, this is the better looking one, and they seem to have sold out, keeping it steady at 1590, whatever it is. So you can see a nice general decrease there. So they do sell. So there's definitely something there, like those ones. All right. Okay, I'm going to look at the next one. Look here. Right. Trying to match up pictures. Oops. Fat fingers today. find the part number. AKE35. It's you. Pretty sure. It's AKE35. Yeah, that's you. Okay. So how much of these come in that? Alright. Okay, put that in there. Can we sell it? Yes. Get that off of there. Seems pretty good. Now, are they showing the buy box? It did seem like they have. Yep, so there's a nice gentle decrease there. So that's like a good, that's what you really want to see is, that's FBM. But that's the kind of graph you want to see. Let's include historical here. Now, it's really quite annoying when someone's only got one unit. It shows it's just selling. We want someone that's had a good bit of units in for a while and then sells them through, as opposed to this kind of stuff where it's just one at a time. So there's 126 that are there, but it's spread across all variations, which makes it super difficult to test these things out. Now, this isn't necessarily variations in terms of sometimes you'll have the same color and then the price being different makes a difference. This is 30, 35, 40, 40. These are kind of chain lengths. So it's not quite like someone who's got a 35 can use a 30 or something like that. So when someone needs a 35, they need a 35, just the way it is. But they're quite similar in price. So I would expect that it's more about then what's the the kind of more popular model. These ones I definitely test. At the end of the day, it's worth a test to see how they go. But not like a slam dunk. I'm not seeing something here that's like, yeah, it's an easy winner, because the data is just not there to support it at the end of the day. Some people have been in and out of stock. Go back to price history. The seller count has been moving, but not, you'll see, if you see some graphs, you'll see like, a gradual seller increase, and then you'll see it decreasing as people sell out. That's usually a good sign that there's kind of just overarching movement through this particular ASIN. When there's not, you kind of got to tread a little bit more carefully and maybe do a test buy and see how it goes, which you can afford to do when the margins are super high. When the ROI is like this, it's worth doing that test. When it's low, then it's just not worth the effort. So you got to bear that in mind. At this kind of margin, it's definitely worth it. And once you've got that data, then you've got it. Like everyone else is going to be sat on the outside going like, oh, having third-party data, relying on Keeper, relying on SellerAmp. Once you've got the first-party data, like you've got that yourself, then that's what's really valuable. No one else can have that. All right, so look at these pruners. Now, there's actually tons of these. So it's going to be tricky to work out exactly which one it is. I think it's this one here. Just quickly looking at the pictures, I think it's this one. This one. The graph's really terrible on this, so I'm not even look at that. Even though it's similar, I'm not even going to click it open because I can see, you can have this pop-out Keeper here, which means, I'm just going to save myself the time of clicking into this. And even if this was the right one, I just wouldn't be interested in this graph, really, just because it's just not showing enough for me to not even invest the time in clicking open the listing. Whereas this one, it looks like it's the main one for this. So we'll have a quick look. I think this is the P32. I think it's the 341 I've got in front of me. It's this one here. So there's a little part number on the top. I'm looking at the images. First I was looking at the shape, but actually there's a little part number on it. So, particularly coming into gardening season, these will be quite a popular item. This is a slower part of the year for these, but come summertime, they'll really start to ramp up. Okay, so the buy box is not with Amazon at all. These people here are just, looks like they're undercutting. It's a bit of a price war going on here. they were selling it for 14, and then eventually, bit by bit, everyone's kind of come in and come underneath them. All right, so someone here has got 104 units of them. So we should be able to see some really interesting data on these. Let's have a look. Because there's quite a few sellers on here. So this is the kind of stuff we want to see, like some good steady sales coming through, although they're now kind of stuck up here. These ones are decent, so you can see a nice gentle decrease, and this is probably the best example that we want to see. I've got my Slack going off. This is what we kind of want to see. They had 24, and then you can see a gentle decrease. So that's kind of our best indication of how well. Have I got the historical on here? I have. So these guys are just kind of sat here. It looks like these guys are sat here waiting for the price to rise. I think it's going to sell out quick enough, or they just haven't been paying attention to price. They got 100 odd left. The price is now kind of 13 pence below them, and so these buy, sell direct in UK Goods Store, and this one in fact as well, Jack Dean's, they look like they're in a bit of a price war, and you can see it. You can see their prices undercutting each other, and you can see it here. You can see that happening. So if we kind of zoom in, we'll have a look at this. This is kind of what we want to see, a nice from the, whatever you say this is, the January and it's actually annoying because it's the bottom of the page, but January call it the 15th, I guess, to February the 1st. So in half a month, they've gone from 24 down to 6, so 18 sales or so. And then these ones kind of the same in the last, looks once they start to get competitive and start to try and compete and get competitive, and you can see that happened here. As soon as these guys came on, they started straight away undercut the price, and so these guys have been in a price war since this point, really, since January the 9th. So since January the 9th, they came in and started to try and undercut. So they've done, down to, they've sold a handful, 5 or so, 27 down, 21, 6. So there's some movements there. It'll definitely pick up. If I look at the graph for coming up to summertime, if I kind of scan this all the way back, oh no, actually, you see the price has gone up, so let's go a little bit further back. As the price has gone up, the graph's got worse, but normally what you tend to see is, as the weather gets better, for these kind of outdoor stuff, the graph gets better. But you can see here that actually, as the price has dropped, the BSR is getting better as well. So sometimes it is actually super hard to figure that, to see. You need really one price fixed all the way through to kind of really see seasonal change. But it looks like this is actually doing better in the winter months. But I would expect them to start picking up a lot more once it gets better outdoors. So yep, this is a decent one. There we go. All right, what else we got? Got about 3 more or so to look at. And the reason why I can afford to spend so much more on, I'm doing a lot more analysis now than I would do normally. I'm just talking through a lot of the stuff. Normally I'd be a lot quicker at talking through these things. Okay, let's just come in and out. All right. Yeah, there's just, even though the margins are going to be crazy good on this, there's 8 sales happening across the entire variation. Now, this is the interesting thing though, is that, it's not been in stock. So, and this is the thing, if you just looked at this and you looked at SellerAmp and it says 8, you're like, I'm not interested. But actually, there's a reason probably why that's happened. It's because it's just never been in stock. And if you were in stock, you can see here at this kind of price, this is potentially what the kind of sales you'd expect to see. So in order to do that, we're going to have a look at the offer history and going back, historical, and get rid of this. I can tell though, looking at the graph, every time that seller has come into stock, they've gone out of stock quite quickly as well. So they do sell. I just need to increase this to 180 and have a look for that. Here it is. This is the kind of period I'm interested in looking at, really. You can see this is what's been happening here. And so when they had them, they went, they went through, let's just take this little section here. So from 22 down to 2 in started out is September the 1st to September the 9th, so that's like 20 a week that's happened there, so that's pretty good. So this is saying 8, but that's because they've not been in stock. So you can't just always trust what you see here. And sometimes when you have sourcing VAs, they just look at this straight away and go, nah, you've got to do a deeper analysis. A lot of people will skip over these kind of things, but actually the fact that if you get these in stock, then they will sell when they're in stock. I'm just typing out my notes at the same time here, so I don't have to do it again. Okay. All right. Nikita. Some saw blades. Too cheap. I mean, I can just tell that £9 is just not enough money. It's a great brand, and they probably sell quite low, but there's just not enough money in this. And I know just they're not going to be enough for us to bother with, no matter how cheap we get them, really. Yeah. So I mean, yes, actually only selling set with 7 of them, so it's not really even worth our while. What was the other one? P 4, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, $4.99. Not worth it at the end of the day. These are being offered to me at £3 a piece, and I can just tell that the price was down at $7.98. There's just no room for, if the price goes down any further, you're just working for peanuts. $7.84 is the break even, and they were selling, Amazon was doing them $7.89 not that long ago. So not particularly, it doesn't really fill me with joy, to be brutally honest. You're working for peanuts. If you're going to be working for less than £1 a piece, then you need to be doing huge volumes. Doing, a handful is just not worth the time and effort. You're better off just focusing on other things, because it's the same amount of time to create the listing, prep the items and ship them in and stuff, and then repricing from then. It's just not worth it. What's the last thing? Okay. This, I probably know this is a cheap item as well. I know it's going to be a bit too cheap. So if you can hear the mosques going off in the background as well. Classic. That's what I come to know Dubai for. Okay, so there's quite a few of these. Is it that one or that one? I suspect it'll be that one. Mm-hmm. 208 grams. Yeah, that sells really, really well. Can you sell it? Now this looks like it could be the knockout winner. Like, this is a single variation. It's doing 2,000 sales a month, estimated. I reckon it's doing more than that, because these estimates are usually off. The real question, and it's coming in at $3.50 a piece. The margins are huge here. There's low competition. The real question is Amazon sharing the buy box, and that's the main thing. Now, on some listings, they don't actually share it, no matter how cheap you are, and I can't see that they've ever shared it, which is a bit of a problem. If they never share it, and they don't ever always have to. I can't see that someone else has ever had it. Amazon. Oh, there's someone else there. Who's that? Let's go back in here. Oh, there's someone there that undercut them, did an FBM. Seems to be for brief. No, they do share it for brief periods, and it seems to be maybe when Amazon has gone out of stock, then they'll share it, but it seems both Amazon's in stock. Now, the way we can confirm this, I mean, that graph would show if there was someone priced lower. I'm not sure. These guys might not be able to price lower than them. Let's have a look and see. These guys have been on 4 for forever, and it doesn't seem like, well, they probably just can't compete at Amazon's price. Now, there's no telling what Amazon will do if you try and undercut them. Yeah, it's really difficult to tell on this. The sales look really, really good, but very difficult to tell if you're actually going to get any sales. Very, very difficult. Because there's no evidence that they are sharing the buy box. It's only, it's also it's also dangerous goods, which makes shipping in a little bit more difficult. So you've got to be on the DG program to be able to send this stuff in. We can, because we've been on that program for ages, but that's another thing you can do to kind of differentiate yourself from other sellers, is get onto those kind of, those programs, those hard to ships, maybe doing oversized or stuff like that, things that people just generally don't want the hassle of doing. That's where you can come in and, and do something. So maybe if you came in and undercut, I can see these guys came in at 15 in September time, and were able to undercut. Let's see what that looks like. They were undercut and then took some of the buy box. So I just want to have a quick peek around when that was. Now it looks like Amazon has matched the buy box. Doesn't look like they shared it at all. And Amazon actually goes down to £8 at some point. So it looks like Amazon might aggressively protect the buy box on this one, randomly dropping to £8 at a time. Definitely worth a test though. It's worth a test. It's just, I just feel like they only share the buy box when they are out of stock, and their price goes up. That being said, there's no one that's really challenged them for, has brought in a price that they can compete with. Because right now I can just see the new price is $14.47, and that'll be an FBM, and they're not sharing the buy box with that. That was FBM 14.47. So there seems to be a new offer at 14.47. Who's that new offer at 14.47? So sometimes the keepers, keepers saying there should be a new offer at 14.47. I don't see anyone offering 14.47, which is bizarre. But keepers picking up some sort of 14.47 offer. Not true. So, if you look at this and you look backwards and you go, oh, right, there was a 14.47 at that time, or this time there's a 12.50. But right now there should be a 14.47 offer, and there's just not. So, you can't always trust the data that these third parties give you. The best thing to do is to get the first party data, and in order to do that, you've got to buy a few and send them in. Even if you're potentially breaking even on the first ones, just to get that data tested. Because this is something like if the test goes well, you could absolutely smash this out of the park. You could afford to sell this at like £12, even competing with Amazon near £8, and you still be making you can do $9.84. But it's worth a test in my eyes. I think that's it. That's all the ones I've been sent. So I'm going to send it across to my, have a chat to my guy, tell him the quantities that we want to do, and go from there, really. So that's the kind of sourcing session. We'll make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Live from Dubai. Do let me know if there's any questions in the chat. I'll post this video onto the channel so you guys can pick my brains on a few different bits and bobs, but the really overarching message from all of this is, you need to build out your networks and get those kind of offline relationships going, or the deals that people don't get access to. This is where you really find your edge and you make your money at the end of the day. It's not doing the OA deals and stuff. You've got to, use that to kind of wet your beak and then just try and get away from there as quickly as possible. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have learned a lot. And hope to do more of these live sessions. And I'll be posting in the group about the best format for them, what you guys want to take away from it, to try and get the most out of this. Going to be trying to push the TikTok side of things and Twitch as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and look forward to speaking again. I've got to figure out how to actually end the stream. Where is the stream? Where's the stream button? How do you hit stop on this? Brand new to this kind of doing streaming stuff live. Normally just recording the videos. There we go. Controls. There we go. All right, guys, signing out. I'll catch up with you guys in a bit.